What is that truck for? Like, different things are going into that truck, and then these things are going into this thing over here. What is going on here, y'all? What airline is this? What airline is this? I've never seen this type of airline. Does anybody know? That's crazy, y'all. Is it true what they've been saying in regards to fast food? Huh? Is this the reason why we don't have any new cemeteries anymore, y'all? Like, come on, y'all. You guys can clearly see it, y'all. Oh my goodness, yo. This is on a whole nother level, y'all. What is going on in the world? Age of Aquarius is showing it all, y'all. I'm not gonna make up any assumptions of y'all, but do those things look like what we think they look like? Unless they are life-size dolls, y'all. I mean, why would they? Again, I have no idea. People are weird. But what do you guys think this video is all about? Please let us know down in the comment. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times.
Explain to you how the system works.
Yeah,
so the first thing is they want us to be in jobs, J-O-Bs, because there they can transduce our most valuable resource, which is our time on the planet. Our effort, but our time on the planet. They can take that non-renewable resource, by the way, and transduce it into a debt instrument, Federal Reserve notes. Things they're not actually worth nothing. They're actually debt instruments. They're IOUs. And the rate of exchange for our time is so low, such that they can make a great deal of profit off of leveraging our time so that the companies make money and we make very little for what our time is really worth. Then, do they pay you your full measure? No, they take half of it out as withholding on taxes that are unconstitutionally levied against us to take away even more of that labor transduced into worthless units, only to return it over a year later after inflation has made it even less valuable. Then we spend what's left and have to pay an additional sales tax, 7 to 8, 9, 10%. And one of my favorites is that even before we get those dollars, they take our money and put it aside for a retire in an IRA or a 401k. And we think that someday in the future, the IRS will honor its word and that we'll get that money back without tax. And the IRS has stated plainly,
I say a job, just
they'll change those rules on a whim, even though they said they can't be changed. Even if they
I'll take
honor their word. By the time you get it back, it won't have even made up the value that inflation was degrading it in the first place, and you've lost money. You might as well have just taken the tax hit. And then the pièce de résistance is that media cons us into thinking that we can have the riches of avarice by putting what's left of our money after all the expenses and taxes into a market that is designed to take our money and recycle it. And the best part about that is that we can't really deduct those losses more than $3,000 a year, and we will take up to 40% tax hit on the capital gains. Oh yes, and the more money you make, the more it's taxed. Does this seem like a fair system to you?
Eddie, y'all that a country with $35 trillion in debt is the one that's giving us a credit score? Make it make sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, the car market has officially crashed. Tens of millions of Americans and Canadians alike are giving back their keys and their car note back to the dealership. There are huge reputable dealerships that are closing down because it is costing them more money to keep the dealership open than close, y'all. This shit is literally over. Check it out.
My truck is $85,000. I'm a used car dealer, and here at these car auctions, we're seeing auto loan delinquencies and repossessions spike.
So guys, John here, tens of millions of Americans are opting out of car ownership, giving the keys back to lender. They can no longer afford these payments.
Americans now falling behind on their car payments.
The average monthly payment for a new vehicle right now is $750.
Oh no, $47,000 for this little unit.
Where are they gonna put them? Where? There's nowhere. No empty spaces. It is full to the brim.
And look,
$85,000. That's getting out of hand. And the consumer right now, with everything costing so much, their payments, so what happens? They lose their cars.
These are the places that you're not going to hear about on the mainstream media, but are just completely going out of business. And by default, those people lose their jobs.
And if you're wanting to buy one of these big SUVs or nice trucks right now, it's not going to be anywhere close to $750 a month. You're going to have to pay way more than that. $118,000, folks. 118 grand. Wow. System right now that there are not enough tow truck drivers to service all of these lending institutions to get their cars back. And repossessed cars are the worst of the worst. They're dirty. They're nasty. They have parts falling off of them because the consumer knows if they're going to lose their car, why take care of it?
And I personally think we're going to walk into the biggest auto loan and auto market crisis we've ever before seen.
The other big thing I'm noticing at the moment is disappearing. As soon as the values of cars came down, there just isn't the money left there anymore, and they're all defaulting and having to go through a bankruptcy. So prices are so high that consumers are having to push out their loans to 72, 84 months to even be able to afford any of these vehicles.
And literally, this thing is over. People barely have enough money to feed their family or for emergency.
Oh, y'all didn't know? World hunger been solved. Meet Fritz. And you see, the world back then was having a problem. They were running out of food fast. I want you to listen closely. Humans plant stuff, but if they plant stuff in the same place, the plant will be weaker. And the next plant after that gets weaker, and so on and so forth. And that's because of this stupid little thing called nitrogen. And the world was running out of it. South America, the main producer of nitrogen, basically closed its ports, told the world, hey, it's me or you, brother. Now, humans been predicted this shortage. Imagine your whole livelihood basically depending on a compound. They've been trying to figure out better ways to get nitrogen for decades. Fritz figured it out. See, nitrogen is all around us. It's in the air you breathe. Fritz said, let me just put it out the air. They said, Fritz, you're a madman. He said, don't call me by my name, call me what I do. Aha, he saved the world. But not quite. See, you know humans. What do humans do when they have an abundance of things? They hoard it. So back then, the problem was there wasn't enough food. Now the problem is, I want to keep it all for myself. Sure, it's a lot more complicated than that, but let's get back to the topic at hand. It took millions of years for Earth to get to 1.5 billion people. After Fritz's invention, the world gets to 8 billion in just 100 years. Half the people watching this video probably wouldn't have been born today without Fritz. But it never just stops there, huh? Oh, I forgot to tell you, Fritz is German. So is Albert Einstein, one of his closest friends, but they were a little bit different. When World War I happened, Albert Einstein said, nah, I don't want to be in it. Fritz said, I love my country and I would love to be in it. He's also known by another name, the father of chemical warfare. He invented something called chlorine gas. The way the gas people was so violent, everyone began to protest, including Fritz's own wife. He told her that the faster Germany can win with this, the more lives will be saved. She said, bet. As soon as he used that chlorine gas, she herself with his. But that only made things worse. He became consumed in his work. He created better and better ways for the gas to be used. He was promoted to a high rank in the military, but Germany still lost. World War II happens. He says, bet, let's get it poppin'. They say, bet, you're fired. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you another thing. He was Jewish. They said, thank you for all you done, get out of our country. He gets exiled. His son also gets exiled. His son's wife passes, so his son himself. His daughter spent her whole life trying to create an antidote for the chlorine gas that her father created. They told his daughter her research will be put aside for the creation of an atom bomb. His daughter herself. The new Germans take an invention of his, use it in certain camps, and his extended family gets... As he's in exile, he has a heart attack. So what did we learn? Well, the answer is...
No, and there's nothing happening. Nothing is happening, Minister. The Department of Justice is not working. The Department of Immigration is not working. And that is why we have the chaos we have on our streets today in relation to all those people out there in tents. So, we're just not, and I don't believe it's going to get any better. This pact is not going to provide the panacea for immigration measures in this country. Rwanda bill, yes.
Dollar Tree closing 600 stores this year. CVS closing 900 stores. Through the end of this year, Walgreens closing 150 stores. Outback Steakhouse has already closed 40 of its restaurants. UPS is cutting 12,000 jobs in 2024. Citigroup cutting 20,000 positions as well. eBay, why not? 1,000 jobs lost there. Microsoft cutting 1,900 positions. Expedia cutting 1,500. Cisco cutting 4,000. Apple cutting 600. It's entertainment too. Regal Cinemas closing 429 locations. Kroger's grocery store chain shutting down 413 stores. It's not affordable to be in retail anymore. Foot Locker closing 400 stores by 2026. Macy's will close 150 locations by 2026, has closed 6 of its supercenters. While the U.S. Senate has passed nearly $100 billion to send to other countries that Joe Biden just signed yesterday, most can't even find Ukraine or Israel on a freaking map, let alone Taiwan. We're paying money that we don't have as our economy goes down the toilet and American jobs die. Of course, we know we're going to ban TikTok so nobody can talk about it freely.
But here's my video of the day, and it's disturbing. And remember I told you one day we won't be able to do this? It's here.
If you're not radicalized yet, let me show you this real quick. Stay with me. This is from the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS website. It is still online, but it's a little harder to find, so go ahead and screenshot this and keep it. These are the things that are defined as violent or terrorism by U.S. definition, okay? If you're a military vet that has your own personal perspective of any experience that you have had overseas, you're violent. You're a terrorist. If you're an anti-war individual or group, you're a violent terrorist. Maybe that's why we've seen, I don't know, the cops doing what they've been doing the past couple of days with the university. You question what your taxes are used on or where they go, or you refuse to pay them, you are violent. You are a terrorist. If you form a group to protect your rights, you are violent. You are a terrorist. And we've seen this worldwide by the U.S. for years. If you use alternative media to get your information, i.e. TikTok, you are violent. You are a terrorist. If you reference the Constitution, which your rights are written into, you are violent. You are a terrorist. You support third-party candidates, you are violent. You are a terrorist. You support an audit of the Federal Reserve, you are violent. You are a terrorist. Obviously, there's a bunch of other stuff on there too y'all should probably read, but you get the point. That is every single one of us. Y'all ready to clean house yet?
This is that form behind me. I will blow it up. You can look this up on the internet. Via the Homeland Security. They have declared war on the American people. Yeah. If you reference the Constitution as your rights, you are a terrorist. If you get your news via social media, you are a terrorist. If you support a third party